I had a lady or a guy comment over on the Longhorn Lester page, and they said that everything is so beautiful there at Longhorn Lester's. And then they said something that I took a little bit of an offense to. They said, if I would have spent half as much time and money on I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, maybe I could have a little bit more pride. The same kind of pride that I show here at this property. It's a shame that I can't have that same pride in my home, the place I was born and raised, the place that I'll die. Sweet baby. I don't know what you want from me. But guys, I'm gonna say this again, and I don't mean to beat this into the ground, but I don't own I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. I've never kept that from you all. My dad has a reason for why he's never deeded that property off to us kids. And maybe it has something to do with that. But I'll tell you what I think. The fact that I took every penny I made for 2 years, ever since I started putting videos on YouTube, animal videos, I saved every penny of that. I never spent a penny. I took and I bought this property, and then, and then every month, listen to me, every month, when I get my check from Google, which that is how YouTube pays us, through Google, I take and I reinvest that money back into the property. And so where it may have been the land purchase came first, and then I got the entrance done second, started the fencing up the driveway was third, and then began to do all of the fencing, the cross fencing was fourth. Got the loafing sheds. And so every month when I get my check from Google, I reinvest it into my property, something that belongs to me. And there's something about pride. There's something about pride. Now, you can go back and if, in hindsight, if my dad had known how I was going to invest my money, would he have gone by and decided, you know what, and done anything differently? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, my Uncle Raleigh died with all of his land in his name. He never deeded an acre off to any of his children. My Uncle Raleigh died with land, lots of land in his name, and he never deeded an acre off to any of his children. And I don't think it's a kid's, I don't think it's up to a child to go to his dad and say, hey, I want my inheritance, or else I'm going to go make my fortune elsewhere. But I'll tell you what Uncle Raleigh's kids have done. Kenny and Karen have both decided at some point in their life, when they turn 30 and then 40 and then 50, and they still own nothing, they've made up their mind to go ahead and go find their fortunes elsewhere. And when I say find their fortunes, I don't mean go get rich, guys. I mean to go make their way in life. To go make their way in life, doing it however they can. And so now, let me just take Cousin Kenny, for example, because I know Kenny doesn't mind. Cousin Kenny has gone off and bought him land. Now Cousin Kenny has land that he'll deed off to his children, that he's bought, that he worked and paid for. He's not sitting there waiting for an inheritance to come to him so he can turn around and give that off to his own children. Kenny has gone off and done something for himself, and there's pride in that. There's a certain amount of pride you take when you can do something like that. And so, if at some point my dad ever gets to the point where he says, you know what, Lester and Daniel and Tina and Kim or whoever else, I'm going to go ahead and give this off to you guys, whatever, then at that point, who knows what'll change. I mean, nothing's going to change here. I'm never, ever leaving Longhorn Lester's. I'd be foolish to. I've worked too hard for this. I'm falling in love more and more with how beautiful everything is here. But after Harvey turning around and trying to build the barn dominium, and then slowly rebuilding fences, and for as many years as it took to do little things, a piece at a time, and now to finally have all of everything in place to where we were able to start the sanctuary. It's beautiful, guys, in its own way. The land is beautiful. But you're right, we never spent as much money or as much time on our fencing. We never took time to stain the wood. We didn't put as many staples. We didn't use as many screws. We were, in fact, at that time, rushing, trying to hurry and put things back together, things that Hurricane Harvey had taken from us. And so I'm not offended by your comment, because it's easy to see that I'm a survivor and Longhorn Lester's. They're both very beautiful pieces of property, but the difference is one of them I own. The other one I just live there. And so I remember that you may think it's foolish for somebody to build barns, dig wells, and do all the things that we've done to make I'm a Survivor, so hospitable and such a great place and a forever home for the babies who live there. And I do think that at some point my dad will get to the age where he'll decide it's time. But my Uncle Raleigh never got to that age. My Uncle Raleigh died, and all of his land had to be decided who gets what in a probate court. And so, how a shame is that my Uncle Raleigh was given land by his dad. I don't know how old Uncle Raleigh was, but at some point, my Uncle Raleigh and my dad were both given an inheritance. They were in their 20s. They were young men. They were in their 20s. They were given an entrusted land. Yet for some reason, my dad and Uncle Raleigh have both, made it part of their mission to hold on to their land until, I don't know what. I wish I could tell you why. And this is in no way anything derogatory or negative about my dad or about Uncle Raleigh. It's just the way, I guess, every man has a different reason why they do what they do and how they do what they do. But I sit here and I walk around and I look at how beautiful this place is and how happy the animals are. And I don't regret for a minute that I went and did what I did. Having Jamie support, having LE, obviously. And so now it's true. I do spend time here. I spend as much time here as I do at I'm a Survivor. And I still mow and maintain the cemetery at I'm a Survivor. And I know that at some point I too will be laid to rest there in Plum Grove. Because Plum Grove holds your heart. That's my home. But there is something beautiful. Yes, she's beautiful. But there's something about a man's pride that makes this place beautiful in its own way. I sit here and I envision one day that pond will be full. It will, one day. If we ever get rain again, that pond will be full. And one day these pastures will be full of lush green grass. And these animals that are already living a pretty darn good life will be doing even better. And it just feels good to know that we did this. Jamie and I, LE, we did this. The folks who we were able to pay the contract to help us on certain jobs may have done some of the labor, but guess what? We were the master planners. We were the ones that walked the fence lines. We were the ones that marked off the spot for the barn to have the concrete poured. We were the ones that, well, we built it. So no, your comment did not offend me at all. And I remember how you said, please don't be offended, please don't. Anyway, I'm not at all feeling bitter or feeling... It's sometimes hard to talk about anything that's family related because of the fact that we all love members of the same family. And it's normal that a lot of people take sides and you feel like any discussion is actually an argument and you have to side with one or the other. And I'm not. I've already told you at the beginning of this video, I have no qualms with the way that my dad and my uncle have decided to hold on to their land until they die. But I will say this, I won't. Whenever LE gets to the age where he tells me, Dad, I'd like to have a home. I'd like to have a piece of property. I would like to have some animals. Or, Dad, I would like to have a place. Guess what? LE gets a place. I'll go stake off a spot in the front of the pasture up there or wherever LE wants to live. Here in the back, don't think I haven't thought about this. Let me show y'all. See that cluster of trees right there? Kind of close to where all the round hay's at. That's a home site, y'all. That's a home site. That is a home site right there. That's a home site where your back window looks over the ledge down at a beautiful river, and your front yard looks right out until you cross your pastures. Now, who will claim it first, LE or me and Jamie? That is the question. I'm happy that Lex loves it here. He does. Lex loves it here. LE enjoys coming out to visit. I'm rambling. Guys, I'm rambling, and this video is dragging on, and it's really, I don't even know where we started. But, Longhorn Lesters. Look at the cats on top of the columns. Oh, I'll answer another question too. This was one that you were trying to be mean. This is when you were trying to be mean. You said, Lester, it's easy to see that one of those columns is higher than the other one. Well, guess what? It's easy to see that there's more stone on this column, which makes it appear as though it would be taller. But guess what? If you had a level that goes straight across, you would find out that the ground is actually higher on this side, which means you needed more stone to make it level. Ta-da! You want to know how else I can tell? We have a 5-foot fence. We have a 5-foot fence that goes down each side of the driveway. The 5-foot fence comes almost to the top of this column. The 5-foot fence is about a foot off of that column, which tells you right there that this side of the fence, this side of the driveway, is higher than that side. You can actually see the incline. So, where are you going? In the woods. Jamie's off to change batteries in the cameras, so I'm off to go with her.